So, Deltarune Chapters 3 and 4 dropped like 2 weeks ago, and I know I'm very late, but Deltarune has until 2026 for Chapter 5, which technically means they have until like 2030 for Chapter 5, so we'll be fine. Now, I gotta get a confession off my back and grab my ukulele, because I cheated to beat Deltarune Chapter 4. The Titan was impossible, and I'm terrible at video games, and I gave it like 120 tries over the course of 12 hours, so that is my apology. Sorry. Alright, now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's talk about Deltarune Chapter 3. So basically, Deltarune Chapter 3 starts in the exact way Chapter 2 ended, with everyone in the Dark World, and instead of Toriel having a noticeable role, like Birdly, just kind of wandering around and doing whatever, and then joining for the final battle, Toriel's just asleep, no explanation, no nothing. I feel like this will be brought up in, Chapter 5, but, that will be for the end of the video. Anyway, so, instead of, like, a TV-themed world where you go through a bunch of different TV areas like Hollywood at the beginning of the chapter, or just something completely different to what we got, but, I guess Toby's gonna do the least expected thing possible, so we have to deal with it. Oh shoot, I just realized, spoilers, if you haven't played Deltarune, whoopsie daisy, go play it. It's like $24 and it'll get free updates for chapters 5, 6, 7, and whatever comes next. Go buy it, now! So, like I said, spoilers, and basically, after you defeat Tenna and escape, and then defeat him again, the night comes and... And then Undyne shows up, and the knight kidnaps her and takes her to the bunker, and there's a dark world in the bunker, and Chapter 4 time! Chapter 4 starts off with you sealing the Dark Fountain from Chapter 3. You seal the Dark Fountain, and then you go off to church and just kinda listen to the church sermon. And only then do you go back to Noelle's house, and we finally meet Carol Holiday, who, yeah, we had no idea, but she's probably the knight. Or maybe Des is. I don't know. She's probably dead. She takes back the guitar that we stole from Des's room and find out there's a shelter code. But before all that, Chris kinda rips out their soul and puts it in an air vent, and we just kinda go around, because apparently there's connections between Chris, the knight, and Des. Anyway, so we go check on Toriel because it's like nighttime or something, I don't know, and we see that there's a dark fountain in the church. So we go in and investigate, and Gerson Boone is just kinda right there. And he's like, I'm old. And that's his character arc. He's old and does stuff. Oh, Andy for real is definitely dead. And so after you close one dark fountain, you realize that the main dark fountain was actually in the other section of the church. So, you kinda go in there, and spoilers, even though I already told you to go play the game, the Titan is in there, and he's just kinda existing. So, normal people with good video game skills take at least 4 tries to beat him, and then they don't have to cheat, but I cheated because I'm terrible at video games, and no, I will not try again. Anyway, so after you beat the Titan, and Susie kinda just throws you in its mouth, that sounds weird, Chris just kinda uses the soul they stole or whatever, and closes the Titan existence forever. And then they close the fountain after Susie realizes that in order to beat the roaring and do stuff, everything has to come to an end and the world has to die or something terrible like that Susie is in denial of. Anyway, then we go back to the real world, and Sans and Toriel are definitely boning. So, that's it. Stay golden!